Good morning. So today is surgery day. It's only minor surgery, but even so, I always feel like surgery days make you feel like you're living in a different world to everyone else. For everyone else, it's a normal day, and for you, you know that you've got this big life altering thing coming, and you don't know if it's going to be, you don't know how it's going to go. And so I have a lot of hope that this is going to make things better for me, but I also know it doesn't come without risks, and I don't worry about the big things. So surgeries do come with quite big risks, and I just put that out of my head. But the risks that are specific to the surgery, those are the ones that play on my mind. And actually, I didn't sleep all of last night, and so at this point, it's worth me just sort of getting up and having a relaxed morning while I wait. But yeah, it's just interesting how I always feel like I'm living in a different world than other people. And the other thing that's sort of different is that with a lot of chronic illnesses, days like these aren't out of the norm. So this is just one day of many. It's not like, oh my gosh, it's surgery today, as in this huge thing that never happens, because actually it does happen quite regularly. I've not had any huge surgeries where I've had to be in for like weeks at a time or anything like that, but things like day surgeries are actually very common, and this is just a day surgery for me. So I thought we'd go over some things that I find comforting on days like today. I always remind myself that no matter what I'm going through, time barrels forward without you doing anything. So even if you're having a really horrible time and you feel like you can't get through it, you always will, because that time will just barrel forward anyway, and time itself will get you through it, even if nothing else does. I guess it's a bit like saying time is the greatest healer, which it is, as much as things are very difficult and things don't heal completely, time does heal to some extent. So I just try and remind myself of that. Like, even if today is really, really hard, today will always come to an end, as every day does. I don't know if that's going to be helpful for anyone, but I always think to myself, as difficult as this day is, I will get through it, because time will keep moving forward regardless, and time itself will push me through. It's really hard to put into words what I mean by that, but that is a thing that I always find comforting. And I will sometimes even just look at the date on my calendar and just think, this time next week, this will hopefully be a thing of the past and be better. And I guess also just reminding myself that even though it feels like very nerve-wracking and a big thing for me, just remembering that actually it is a normal day for everyone else. And I don't know, I find that reassuring. I'm like, actually, this is just another day. It's just this thing that's happening, and it's going to be over soon. I just try and remind myself of things like that. But yeah, I am nervous. But yeah, as I was saying, this is a regular thing, and I don't know how I would hold down, like, even if my symptoms were under control enough for me to hold down a regular job, I still don't know how I would, because there's so much going on all the time. Yesterday I had a big procedure. In fact, it wasn't even that big. I just had a procedure yesterday. It did take over an hour long, so it was like it felt intense. I'm going to be honest, it felt intense. And I got home and I just fall into a state where I can't do anything for several hours. I just can't do anything. I can't do anything at all. I don't know how to put it into words, but like, I can't lift my head or move or anything. And it's not even a result of the procedure itself, it's just a result of doing something. My body gets so ill that I just can't move or anything. I'm like in between asleep and awake, but it's like a fever dream sort of state, where you're like conscious and you're aware of noises and stuff, but only partially, and they sort of drift in and out of sleep and stuff. And it's I don't know, normally like weird and disturbing images, because your body's not feeling well and it comes out in what they call as a fever dream. I get that just from doing things. I get that all the time. So that was yesterday. I had the procedure, and the rest of the day was spent in that weird fever dream type state. and that happens to me from doing one small thing. So yesterday was a write-off from that. Today is going to be a write-off from the surgery, and it's just, yeah. And as we'll go through in this video, there's just so many things that I have on, and then it puts me into that weird state where I can't do anything. Yeah, and then all of my other symptoms on top of that. It's just a lot. Hi friends, look, it's Frankie. So I just wanted to update. At the moment, I'm having a lot of problems with my stitches reopening and excessive bleeding and stuff like that. Mainly the stitches opening and just causing holes in the area. So yeah, I've decided to take a break from Patreon. If you're a patron, you won't be charged for the next few weeks. I've paused all billing, so yeah. Yeah, I found it quite tricky, not gonna lie, especially after my thyroid surgery was so easy. This one, the stitches just won't remain closed, and it's been quite painful. So yeah, hopefully in a couple of weeks I'll be feeling better. Don't worry about your Patreon, you won't be charged for now, and I'll see you next week. Bye.